Okay, tomorrow is one of the very decisive day on the market because we have the Fed committee, all right? The central bankers around the US are gonna meet. I mean, they're already meeting, they started the meeting today, and tomorrow they're gonna disclose to the market what is the decision moving forward, not only when it comes to tapering, but also when it comes to interest rates. So I'm gonna give you in this video my take when it comes to what the Fed is actually going to do and how I believe is going to impact the markets and how I'm positioning myself to make money off of it. All right. So first thing first, if you have been paying attention to the market lately, today, yesterday, last week, I mean, there is blood on the street, blood everywhere. Crypto is dipping. Even bonds are dipping. Stocks, don't even mention it. Everything is red. Why? Because we have two main things outside of many other negative catalysts. It seems like we have a conjunction of negative catalysts dumping on investors in the market all at once. And people are like, man, what do I do? What do I do? And anytime you have uncertainty ahead of you, people will always sell because they want to have cash. I'd rather have cash now, take some profits, because I don't know where tomorrow is going to lead me to. All right. So that is exactly where we're coming on. So two things. First, we have Omicron. We have the first death in UK that was disclosed yesterday overnight. And then you have more and more people getting, the Omicron variant. So it seems like this thing is not going to be something that is here to, like Delta. All right. But where the market and most people tend to overreact with this Omicron news is that not only we have the Pfizer pill saying it's 90% effective on COVID-19, including Omicron and Delta. We have boosters proven, by studies made that they are now effective on this. But also you have the CDC that came today and announced, that hey, we found out that 80% of the Omicron cases are really coming from people who are fully vaccinated. So I guess, and none of these people have been either hospitalized or dying so far. So seems to me like it's an overreaction, all right? So I guess when people will start realizing that, then they will have some more confidence into the future. The second thing is inflation, and that's why tomorrow is definitely a very big day for the meeting. For the Federal Reserve. But stepping back a little bit, and I'm going to use some of the input here based on the video I watched from Meet Kevin. I think the Fed is in a very interesting position, not to say tough, because on one side of things, people are putting pressure and everybody is kind of inflation. We'll be talking about inflation for the last 18 months. For the last 12 months, especially as the CPI data is getting more and more, intense. We're having prices getting higher and higher, but we also have President Biden willing to fight inflation and give some sense to the voters and to the American citizens that he's doing something to combat inflation, right? So Mr. Jerome Powell, it's between two hammers, right? How not to definitely set fire on the market, but also how to make sure this man, that is now appointing me for the second time, because the first person to actually appoint Mr. Mr. Powell was Donald Trump. All right. So Mr. Biden kind of took a risk here, by appointing Mr. Powell, and that's, if you pay your attention, Mr. Powell's speech kind of switched right before and right after he got reappointed as Fed chair, right? And I believe this is how politics get into this play. But that being said, when you look at the data around inflation, we have prices have been going up, used cars, new cars, groceries, food, rent, energy, oil and gas prices, etc., etc. And yeah, this is true. But between now and between the coming months and between the last data that we got, those prices have been cooling off or are set to cool off. At least gas prices have cooled off on the market and at the pump. even not as much as you would have expected, but it cooled down a little bit. All right. Now, coming to food and everything, it is all caused by supply chain issues. That's why this is the bottleneck. This is the root cause of inflation soaring, because you have supply chain issues. If manufacturers cannot get raw materials in time and with the same prices that it was 2 years ago, they're gonna reflect those prices onto you, the customers, to maintain the margins. All right, this is pure business 101. So, since that is the case, you look at what people were buying at the beginning of this year, who actually push the CPI data, or the consumer price, to go higher and higher and higher month after month. People were freaking buying stuff for home improvement because we were all locked down doing nothing. All right, so we have to get a little bit busy. And then we also had people were crazy about buying cars, but now you have new cars available on parking lots, on dealerships. All right. Second, you also have people were buying stuff for the holidays. So people were also buying stuff, like electronics and everything. Everything that we're pushing the consumer price data higher and higher are stuff that you don't get to buy every single day, every single month. That's why I think, even though Mr. Powell said inflation is transitory, it's not transitory anymore. I still believe it is. I still believe people are making too much more noise rather than what is actually is the real case. All right. So nothing is going to last forever. So inflation going to also start going back down. And that's why people are going to realize that, hey, maybe we were a little bit overreacting here. All right. So tomorrow, I think Mr. Powell is going to say, we are going to continue to taper, meaning we're going to continue to increase the amount of money we're going to reduce out of the economy from the stimulus. All right. So right now they said it's going to be 15 billion per month, and it's been 120 billion per month so far. So they're going to reduce it little by little, because the further and the bigger the amount they reduce, the closer they're going to start increasing interest rates. All right. So that's why people are really not settled on, the rates increasing. All right. Especially for people like hedge funds who are over leveraged and holding some of the high growth stocks. All right. So based on that, I'm expecting the markets to already have priced a little bit of what I'm expecting Mr. Powell to say tomorrow. All right. So maybe we're going to see 1 or 2% on the green, but I'm not expecting people to start selling, because based on what I saw today, around the closing, the late hour of the trading session, indexes were kind of, going up, stocks were going up a little bit, meaning people were, okay, maybe this was overdone. Let me position myself to buy in now, because the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 have been down pretty much 3 to 4 days now. 3 days, all right? So based on that, what I'm doing is I am buying the dip. Not on stocks, because I already bought the dip on stocks, last week. So I'm out of cash on my main brokerage account. What I'm doing is on my MetaTrader account, I'm buying the whole market, so I bought NASDAQ, I bought the S&P 500, and I also bought the Dow Jones. All right. So if you want to also get interested into how you can trade the market as a whole, not individual stocks or ETFs or indexes, then let me know in the comment section, and maybe we'll do, a live kind of, not teaching, but, demo video on how you can also do that, because, hey, it's pretty easy to make between 50 to $100 from a beginner standpoint, or maybe 500 per day if you're kind of advanced. And it's pretty cool, man. So let me know in the comment section, and we'll see how to arrange that for you guys. So this is my take on inflation and what I'm doing. I may be totally wrong here, because, nobody knows the future. So based on this, I will see you in the next one.